Okay, we have Jason here, and he is helping with a movie production based on a true story, and the movie's called Sight, just Sight.
Yeah.
Yep. So tell us about it.
Yeah, so we have a good news that we are doing a movie pre-screening for the movie called Sight, and this coming week, in California and including both Southern California and Northern California.
Nice. And it's an award-winning movie. So, what was the award?
Yeah, the award is called International Christian Visual Media. It's a so-called Christian film Oscar, and Sight movie has won Crown Award for both Best Picture and Best Theatrical Release.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. And you were mentioning which movies would it have been up against?
Oh yeah, it's up against like hundreds of films, including Jesus Revolution and Chosen.
Nice. Yeah, and tell us why did it win?
Yeah, so Dr. Wang actually talked to the committee. He said something funny. He said before the award was announced, they were there, right? They thought that there's no chance they can win, so they were almost ready to just leave, before the announcement.
Wow.
Like, yeah. But the announcement, it announced that they won, right? So he asked them why you choose, this movie.
Yeah.
And the committee, they told him that they thought this movie has a breakthrough, in terms of Christian film, that it basically will help a skeptic to really think about, there's more to life than what you can see.
Yeah.
Because this movie is about both physical side and the spiritual side. Yeah.
Nice. So skeptics should come and see this movie.
Yes.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Invite your skeptic friends, and if you're a skeptic, come see this movie.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So tell us about the movie.
Yeah, so the movie is about basically this eye surgeon. His name is called Wang, and it's about his experience coming from China to study in the U.S. And he got both PhD in laser physics and MD from Harvard MIT joint program.
Wow.
Yes, and he became a world-class eye surgeon, and he became a believer when he was practicing in Philadelphia. Yeah, because he met kind of weekly with a group of Christian doctors, and at one point he decided to get baptized.
Yeah. And I liked your story before about how he started thinking about God in the first place with the professor.
Oh yeah, so he started thinking about existence of God when he was doing his MD at Harvard. His professor was a Christian, and one time they were having a conversation by a street, and his professor asked him, looking at the car, do you think it's possible, the car came into existence by having random particles just, bumping into each other? And Dr. Miwang said, there's no way. And then the professor asked him, then what do you think about our eye? Our eyes have more cells than the number of stars in the universe.
Yeah.
And if there's one cell that's not in the right place, then our eye will not be able to see.
Wow.
Yeah, so that means it's a miracle that we have eye.
Yeah.
It's not something random. And Dr. Miwang said, yeah, that's so true. And he started thinking about that most likely there's God, and that God created the life. Yeah.
Wow. Something that I thought was also cool. So with the technology that he created, it was after he became a Christian.
That's right.
And it was really God that gave him that idea, right?
That's right. Yeah. So he was basically, as an eye surgeon, he always tried to solve the problem of having basically, the stuff you put in eye to help with eye vision, not to have scar tissue. Because if you have scar tissue, then your eye will be blurry again. That's why I think it's very common for people who have eye surgery, and then after some time the eyes start to be blurry again, and that's because of the scar tissue.
Okay.
Yeah, that babies don't have scar tissues because of the the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he wondered, can we use something from the baby? But he know that baby is alive, right? You cannot use anything from the baby.
Right.
I don't know the details, but he know that from his faith, you cannot use something from baby. But then as he prayed to Jesus, and he know Jesus is good, and so he got the idea that you can use a placenta, because after baby is born, the placenta is thrown out. Right. So he basically looked into the placenta, and then in the placenta there's a amniotic membrane. And he used that to create basically contact lens.
Oh, wow.
So he put that into eye, and this technology has restored sight for many people.
Wow.
And there's no scar tissue after you put that in.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's very interesting, right? So scar tissue in the eye, if you have scar tissue, then it causes your eye not be able to see.
Wow.
So that's how he come up with this technology to help people with the eyesight issue to restore sight.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Who would have thought that the membrane from the placenta could help you with your eyesight?
That's right. So that's a beautiful fruit from his both his science background and also his faith. So that's why he said science is a tool.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ give us purpose. Like a lot of other things, if we don't know Jesus Christ, then science, the tool, can be used in a bad way and cause harm and destruction.
For sure.
Yeah.
I love, so with God actually showing him this technology of how to give sight back, it reminds me of my friend who's getting a PhD in physics and could not solve the problem until he prayed to Jesus. And he was not a believer at this time. And he was trying and trying and trying, could not get anywhere. Prayed to God, and God just showed him, just opened up the answer. And that was what enabled him to finish and get his PhD.
Wow.
So it's really neat how Jesus did the same thing with this doctor.
That's right.
Yeah.
And this doctor has a foundation called the Wang Foundation for Sight Restoration. So basically with this foundation, he's able to help blind people who are poor, especially blind orphans, to have their sight restored free of charge.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you say 50,000 he's done for the blind orphans or something like that?
50,000 probably he performed surgeries. Probably it includes all kinds of patients.
Okay.
Yeah. And out of those 50,000, there are several thousand of those patients are doctors.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So he's called Doctor of Doctors. And among his patients, some of them are famous artists who live in Nashville, like Dolly Parton, Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
Very nice. That's cool.
So Dr. Wang, he when he was a teenager, and in China there was Cultural Revolution. So basically, he stopped going to school, and in order to prevent being sent to villages, he started learning Chinese violin. And because if you know how to play that, you might be able to join the music and performance, government it's for government, music and performance group. It's mainly for propaganda, to purpose,
sure.
But if you join that, then you don't have to go to villages, because if you go to village, then you're separate from your parents, and it's very, very, a lot of people went through that. It's very bad.
That's sad.
Yeah, but at that time he was kind of reluctantly. It's he was doing it for a purpose, right? But now he really enjoyed it because he actually collaborated with Dolly Parton. He went to Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton invited him to her studio.
Yeah,
and they recorded something.
That's really fun.
Yes.
It's cool.
And he also learned to dance, so he was a very good amateur dancer. Yeah.
What kind of dance?
What do you call those dances with another lady
the partner dancing?
Yeah, partner dancing.
Ballroom?
Ballroom dancing.
Oh,
yeah, it's
okay.
ballroom dancing.
I love ballroom dancing.
Yeah.
That's my favorite hobby.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he actually in the book he talked about the book. I would say if you want to really know him, and the true story, the book is the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
He like even for like ballroom dance, he said he learned something from it. Basically, how you basically avoid stepping on your partner.
Yeah.
He said you have to do pre-lead.
Oh,
not just
sure.
a lead,
Yeah.
like okay, go this way, and then somehow your partner is not following you.
Right.
He said before you do that, you do pre-lead.
Yeah.
You basically kind of signal to your partner what you're going to do, and then your partners, understand, and then you can go on.
Yeah.
So that's what actually helped him his work. Like when he is treating a patient, he always listen to the patient, and from patient's point of view, he said that, who knows a person's eye the most? That's a patient.
Yeah.
He knows like what he can see, right?
Yeah.
How he feel. So he would listen to them very carefully, and then he will start to help them.
Yeah.
So he learned from his ballroom dancing, to basically to communicate well with his patients.
Oh wow, that's neat. And I remember you saying that he's very humble too.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he's smart. He just works hard.
Yeah, he said he's not very smart. He's like average, above average, and he said two things that helped him to succeed. One is that he outwork everyone else. So he worked really hard.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that he said he doesn't let his happiness be determined by the outcome. Yeah. So that's a good attitude. Not that he believes in God, there's more reason for him to do, to trust in God and not let, his happiness be, determined by outcome.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. Because God is our ultimate, joy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think you mentioned before how he wouldn't be where he is in terms of helping so many people if it weren't for his belief in God.
That's right. In God. Yeah. His invention of amniotic membrane contact lens, it's a result from his prayer to Jesus. Yeah. And also Wang Foundation for Sight Restoration, it's also his prayer to Jesus, who he can help. Yeah. And because his background skill is in, eye surgery. And from the Bible, he knows that God wants us to help orphans. So for him, like he come to blind orphans. Yeah. And then he worked on that. Yeah. Yeah.
And something that I love praying for people for healing. And so just a distinction that I've learned is that there's gifts of healing, which is like what doctors and physical therapists have. And so this guy has a gift of healing, and then when you pray for someone and there's a miracle happens, that's a gift of miracles.
That's right.
So
he basically, God used his skill to help a lot of patients. Because he always pray before he do a surgery.
Wow, that's neat.
That's right. He actually, in a circle, they hold hands with
awesome.
Other doctors and pray over the patient.
Yeah.
And you know what? He shared something very important. He actually did a survey with his patients. After, the surgery is done, and he asked them, were you offended when I prayed for you? And all the patients said, no, we were not offended. And we really appreciate that. Yeah. Because the reason is because they said, at that moment, of basically important moment for their life, right? Yeah. Doctor, you give your best in terms of what you think is important. Yeah. Yeah. So he said, based on the feedback, it's okay to pray for your patients. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Where will the movie be shown?
Oh yeah. So the movie in Southern California on Monday, July 3rd, in the morning it will be shown 11:30. It will be shown in CalTech.
Okay.
CalTech. Yeah. And in the afternoon, 6:30, it will be shown in San Diego. Yeah. So all the details, I will give that to you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll write the details in the description, and then also it's going to be in theaters in October.
Yes.
Of 2023. I'll put that. Yeah. And the trailer in the description as well.
And then the schedule of the pre-screening. Yeah.
Yep. Do you have the information for all over the U.S. or is it just?
We have that too.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you, Robin.
Yeah. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Bring your skeptical friends. Skeptical as in don't believe in God, right?
Yes.
Those are the types.
Yeah.
To see this movie.
Yeah, especially like people, they know science, and they they are skeptic about existence of a God, and this is a great movie. To know that from a top eye surgeon, right? He restored people's sight, and he said there's more to life than what you can see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's really good. Cool. All
right. Yeah.
See you in the theaters.
Yeah. Thank you.